Okay, can you hear me? Yep. Hello guys, thanks for coming. 2 months ago, Anthony asked me if I was okay to do a presentation. I say, okay, 20 minutes is a small room. Now we are here with you 1 hour. So thank you. I'm Arnold Moyo. I'm the team leader of the logistics team in Odoo. And this is William. It's the second older developer in the team. So today we will do a small presentation about the basic feature in Odoo. So what we're gonna do, it's first we're gonna explain the technical object that exists and show you what it represents in the interface and in the functional feature. After that, we will explain you how to move object and create a record that do basic inventory operation. After that, we will explain the interaction between the objects, so how they interact between each other and what are their responsibilities. After that, we will show you a different way to do your own automation of the process of inventory. And finally, we'll do a small word on the valuation. So in stock, we have mainly, we will start by a basic transfer. So you are doing a receipt or you are doing a delivery. So you have three main objects. The first one is the stock picking. The second one is the stock move. And the first one is the stock move line. So let's begin by the picking. The picking, so that's the view you have in the, when you are in the backend and you open the transfer. So the information you have on the top level, it's the picking itself. So it contains all the information about the transfer. What kind of transfer is it? Is it an internal transfer, delivery, a receipt? For which contact is it? For which partner? There is also different settings. So do you deliver all at once or as soon as possible, stuff like that. So all this kind of information is contained in the stock picking object. So that's the stock picking. The second one is the stock move object. The stock move object is the, so it's the line you see in the red. It contains a summary for a product that you want to move. So it's all the quantity that you want to move. It just go by stock move. It's the initial demand. It also contains the valuation information, so the value of the product. And it's also responsible to communicate between the different stock picking you have or different objects you have. So for example, from a move, you will use the move to find the, in a pick pack ship, you will use the move to find the pick, the ship, and you will navigate through the object, through the move. And the last object, it's the most important, it's the stock move line. So it happens when you click on the last button on the stock move, and it shows all the detail of the stock, it's a stock move line. So it's really the most accurate unit. So when you move something, if you have, for example, you pick it from a location or you put it in a sub-location, it's really the main piece of inventory. So for each stock move line, each serial number, you will create a stock move line. Each time you put it in a package, you will put it in a stock move line. So that's really, really important. Now, there is no only picking in the inventory. You also use a manufacturing order. You could use repair order. But it's only the top layer that is that change. So we will keep the stock move, and we will keep the stock move line, but we just replace the top layer. So here, instead of the stock picking, we will use the manufacturing order. And if you go on the view, that's the view of manufacturing order. You can find the manufacturing order with all the manufacturing information, and you again have the stock move and the stock move line. It's the same for repair, and that's all.
Okay. Now that we have presented the main object, let's see for a stock move a basic flow. So first, of course, we create it. Then the first action that we usually call is the confirmation with action confirm in the code. What it do is to change the state from draft to confirm, and it marks the move as ready to be processed. We also have a reservation system, so that means once the stock move is confirmed, I can look up in the stock what's available to fulfill my stock move. The reservation will tell me, okay, you have enough in stock. This is the lot number that you can use. This is the location that you can empty to fulfill the stock move. And then the validation to process the stock move and update the stock accordingly. So here is the skeleton of a stock move. So this is actually part of the code we have in stock for the stock move. You can see stock move is defined by a name. Usually is the name of the top level object. So the name of the stock picking, the name of the production, or the repair order. Of course, you have the product ID. Then two locations, the location source and the location dest. You can find the stock move line related to the stock move with the move line IDs one too many fields. And then the top level object. So for instance, if a stock move is used in a transfer, it will be picking ID field. If it's a repair order, it will be repair ID. And in manufacturing, there are two fields. It depends if the move is used as a component movement or a finished product movement. So if you consume some material, it will be the raw material production ID field with the ID of the production. And if the move is a finished product, the one which is created in the manufacturing process, it will be the production ID key field. Then we have two fields to link stock move together, but Arnold will talk about it a little bit later. And the three method I just presented to you before. On top of that, so action confirm will actually move the state from draft to confirm and also launch the replenishment. Again, we will discuss about it a little bit later. So when we create stock move automatically, it's at this stage that stock move will trigger something else. The action assign, as I said, check the inventory to see what's available for your stock move, and also will create the stock move line accordingly. So again, if we have one lot number that is available, the reservation with action assign will create a stock move line with the lot available for your stock move. And finally, action done to validate the stock move, mark the states as done, and update the stock quantities. Okay, so how do we create a move? I show here the required fields to create a stock move. So of course, the name, the product, the two locations, the source and the destination. Then the first quantity field, which we call product quantity, it's the initial demand. So when the move is in draft state, it specifies how many of your product do you want to move. Unit of measure can be different than the one specified on the product. If the product is tracked in grams, you can of course create a move in kilograms. And the last field, the picked, is a Boolean field we use mainly to if you want to create partial picking. So let's say you have 10 products to move, you have already 5 available, and you want to validate those 5. You set the 5 first move as picked, and the 5 last are as not picked. And when you validate the stock picking, it will split in 2 pickings, one validated and one still waiting to be processed. Then action confirm to set the move as ready to be processed. You specify on the second field, the second quantity field, what you want to actually move. So it can be different than the initial demand. Sometimes the move has a different meaning than the previous one. So you can change the value, and then you validate. We put a small note about the quantity fields. So before the version 17, we had 2 quantity fields, the reserved one and the quantity done one. So the reserved one was the quantity available and reserved by the action aside method, and the quantity done was the quantity that the move will actually displace in the inventory. And now we merge those two quantities together in the quantity fields. That means editing the quantity fields will update the reservation, and the reservation directly set the quantity that will be moved. And of course, the pick to specify if you want to create a backorder or not. Now let's present the different fields of the stock move lines. Of course, there is the field move ID to link the stock move lines to the relative stock move. We have the product ID that needs to be the same, of course, as the one on the move. Again, two locations, source and destination. In this case, it can be different than the stock move if the locations are child of the ones on stock move. Let's say you create a stock move general to move from your stock to your customer. You can, of course, create some move lines that will pick object in specific sublocation to your customer. If your product is tracked by either lot number or serial number, this is where we specify the one we choose. And also, if your database has the package settings enabled, you can specify if the product comes from a package, goes to a package, or if you move a package, the package will be the same on package ID, which is the source one, and result package ID, which is the destination one. And the last important field is the owner ID. If you manage stock that do not belong to you, if you have enabled the consignment feature, this is where you can specify the partners that own the goods that you are moving. And an important method on stock move line is action done. In fact, the action done on stock move is simply a proxy to the one on stock move lines. So validating a stock move will, in fact, call the action done of all the stock move lines. Okay, so if we go back to the lifetime of a stock move, where the stock move lines appears. So at the creation of a stock move, you can confirm it and reserve. And as I said before, the reservation will create the stock move line. So you can see if I check what move line IDs are in my stock move, I see some of them because I reserved some stock. I can mark my move as picked and validate. Once I validate, both the move lines and the stock move will be in state done. This is an example with lots of details, but in real life, we won't do that many steps. For instance, by default, the confirmation will reserve automatically. This is an option that you can set on the operation type. So operation type are a list of settings that you can specify for kind of transfer. We have operation type for deliveries, for receipt, for manufacturing, dropship, etc. And by default, the reservation is done directly at the confirmation, but you can specify if you want to set it manually. Also, the picked, you don't need to set a true in the interface. You can set some stock move and validate your picking. When you validate a picking, if all the stock move are set as non-picked, we guess that everything should be moved, so we picked everything and we validate. But it's not the only way to create stock move lines. We can create stock move lines manually. So once again, I create my stock move, and then I can directly create my stock move lines if I want. Of course, I need to specify the stock move to link the two together, set the product, the two locations, the quantity. Here it will be like the stock move, the quantity that you actually move. Unit of measure, again, it can be different than the stock move. We compute the factor on the fly. If the product is tracked by lots, you can either specify a name in lot name, and new lots will be created at the validation, or use an existing one with the lot ID fields. You can set packages and owner, set the move as picked, and validate. So you can see in this example, we did not code action confirm and we did not reserve, but it works the same way. Instead, we create the stock move line ourselves. Again, a small note about the name of the fields. Before the V17 on stock move lines, the quantity was called quantity done, and there was also a reserved quantity, and now everything is merged in the quantity fields. Okay, so that was a basic flow of stock move, but we did not explain yet how the stock are recorded in Odoo. And for that, let's see the stock quant model, which is the actual table that records everything a database have in stock at the current time. So here is the issue. You want to know what's the quantity on a specific location. The first approach could be to sum every stock move that will add some product in this location, and remove every move that go out of this location. In fact, before V11, I think, it was like that. Yeah. But of course, there is a problem of scalability. If you have many stock moves, you don't want to recompute everything each time you want to just check the stock. And so for that, we have a sort of cache that is updated each time we validate a stock move, and which is read each time we want to reserve some stock move. So for that, we have the stock quant model. This is the main fields that we can find on it. Of course, a product, a location, a lot number if the product is tracked, and a package. And on top of that, 2 quantity fields. So the quantity actually in stock for these 4 data, and the reserve quantity that are marked on stock move lines not yet validated, also for the 4 data. And if you remember the architecture of stock move lines, they are the same fields, because when we reserve and create stock move lines, we use the same keys to create the stock move lines. So you need to see the stock model like an onion, so with different layers, and layers only talk to the ones that are near to them. So for instance, a stock move has a state, and the stock picking gets its state from the stock move inside that. The stock move with the reservation have some stock move line created. The stock move line created give their quantities from the stock quants. And when we validate stock move and stock move lines, the quantities are set on the quants to update the stock accordingly. We try as much as possible to not make communication between 2 layers that are not neighbor, to have a more an easier abstraction between the different objects. So let's see the class for a stock quant. So as I said before, we can find the same keys as the stock move line: the product, the location, a lot, a package, an owner, and the 2 quantities fields. And here is some important methods we get on stock quant. First is the getter. So you want to get all the quants that with some parameters. So let's say I want all my quants for my product in this location. I don't care about the lots of the package. Tell me all the quants I have. The get removal strategy domain order is used when you have a specific removal strategy. So let's say you want to reserve stock lots having an expiration date the lowest as possible. This method will tell you on what order you need to consume the quants. The get reserve quantity simply give the available quantity in a specific location. And the last one is a method that are regularly called by a cron, or when you open some reports, to try to diminish the number of stock quant as much as possible. As it's a cache and it was created for performance reason, we try to merge every quant that has the same 5 keys, add the quantity and merge the value, and also we move every quant that has 0 quantities. For instance, if you empty the stock for a customer and the quant is equals to 0, a cron will erase it to have as less quants as possible. So this is the most technical model we have. We try to not update the quantity manually. There is one exception. If you want to make some inventory adjustment, you can load the list view of every quant to have the inventory you have currently in stock. And with the inventory quantity field, you can set a new quantity because you can see in front of you that is not the quantity you have in your system. And with the action apply inventory, we check the difference and we create a stock move and a stock move line behind the scenes to correct the quantities and be sure everything is related to the reality. And another one in the same way, if you want to move some quantity from one location to another, before that you need to create 2 inventory adjustments, one to empty the first location and another one to fill the second one. Now we have a move quant method to simply change the location of a quant, and again it will create stock move behind the scenes to be sure everything is correct and record it. Okay, so now let's talk about a little bit automation.
It's my turn again. So I guess you all have different flow in your inventory process. So is it okay? Yeah. Okay. So you have probably all different flow during your inventory management. Some bring container from other continent, or other one take just in the shop next to their warehouse. So what is really cool in the stuff in the stocks, you can create your own flow. So for this kind of usage, we have an object that is called procurement. The procurement, in fact, it's a need. So I need something in my warehouse or for my customer. The customer just make a sale order, and I need to bring my product to him. So I will create a procurement saying, okay, I need this product with 5 units for this customer in particular. And the sale order will create a procurement, and the procurement will call a function called run. And the run method in Odoo standard, it will create a stock move, for example. It could also create a manufacturing order or a purchase order. In the case of a purchase order in Odoo, for example, we will stop there. My customer need 5 pieces of chocolate. I will buy him 5 pieces of chocolate, and I stop there. But some people have more complex flow. So, for example, I have to test first if the chocolate tastes good. So I need a quality check. So I will create a stock move first to create a quality check on it, and then I will create a purchase order. So the object, for example, the stock move, have the capacity to create a procurement again. So you can do a chain of procurement, and we are back again. So you can create as many objects as you want from the procurement. The procurement, it works with the stock rule object. I don't know if many of you already use the stock rule or know what it is. It's an advanced feature that allows to define some rules. So for example, in our case, the action is very important because it explains what the action has to do. The pull from, it means create a move. There is also other actions. So for example, there is the action buy, which means buy something, the action manufacture, which is manufacture something. So very easy. The destination location, it does a match directly with the procurement. So the procurement say, okay, I have a need at this particular location. So I need to find a rule that brings the goods to this location. So that's the destination location of the stock rule. And the last argument we see, the supply method, it means, do I need to create another procurement after the object, or if I step there? So for example, if my rule is, my supply method is trigger another rule, I know that I have to create another procurement, and I continue the chain. Otherwise, I can just, if it's take from stock, I stop there, I don't create any more procurement, and it's over. You have a lot of different other parameters. This one is specific for the picking, so it explains which warehouse you have to take the goods. The route, it's also very important because the route, it's an ensemble of different rules. So the route is applicable by product category, or by warehouse. So you can create a set of rules which belong to a route for a particular product. So it will just apply to this product. So for example, if you have a specific path for your product, it's coming from big container and boat, it will follow another path than the classical product that come by truck, and that's all. So it's the same for category. So how does it work? We have the procurement that called the run function. So we find a rule that matches the destination location. We have that rule, so the rule can have different actions. So for example, in the first case, we have the pull action, so run pull. We will call the code of run pull that will create a stock move, and that's all. If it was another action, for example, buy in the pull action, we will create an RFQ, same for manufacture. That's the classic one in Odoo, but if you want to create your own route and your own process, it's easy to do. You can just override the stock rule object. So let's first start by your procurement. On top we have the procurement. So you see, it doesn't ask a lot. It just asks you what product do you need, which quantity, and where, and also the company. There is the last argument, which is value. The value, it's a dictionary when you can put whatever you want. So if you need some information from the sale order, you can put all the information you will need later in the value, and the procurement will generate some rule and sub-object, and during this method you can get back the value that you put at the beginning later. So now imagine, I don't know, you want to bring product specifically by boat, so you can create a new, you can create an override of the rule model, and you add a new action which is boat. So when you create a rule, you can specify, okay, the action is boat, and when you call the run method on the procurement, it will call the underscore run underscore type of the rule. So in your case, underscore run underscore boat, and it will execute all the code you want. So at this point, you have, for example, you could do a call to an external API to tell them that you are preparing some package to boat, or you are buying from this supplier, and you get you have as argument the procurement. So it's a procurement that triggers the rule, and it contains the product, the quantity, and the values for it. Also, earlier I speak about the procure method, which is triggered under the rule. So it means that you do a chain of procurement. In many cases, you will create a lot of moves because it means, okay, I have a need in supplier, so I will first take it in the pack location because someone has to pack it. From the pack location, someone take it from the stock and pick it, so I will create another move to tell someone to pick the bring from the stock and put it in the pack location. Also from the pick, it has to come in the stock, so I need also another move that bring the good from the supplier to my stock. So you will have a chain of different moves. And this move, it's linked by the two keys we speak earlier. It's the move IDs and the move IDs and the mover IDs. And it could be very useful because it allows you to go from an object, from a transfer, and go to the upstream document. For example, You are on the sale order. The customer asks you, okay, do you have a date for my delivery? You don't really know because you just have the delivery picking, and you can use the move or rig IDs to go on the origin object, and from there you can find the supply, the receipt, and in the receipt you see that it's planned in 3 days. So you can say, okay, I receive it in 3 days. On my internal move, I have 1 day, so it will be there in 4 days. It can be very useful to. Another example, you do a sale order for a customization object. So you have a kitchen. It creates a manufacturing order, but later the customer change. He say, okay, I don't want this drawer, I want another one. You want to inform the manufacturing operator that he has to do another drawer, so you can use the move or rig object to go back on the manufacturing order and do a notification or change the object on it.
Okay. So the last topics of this talk will be the stock valuation. So how to impact your accounting from the inventory. What do you want to have is to get every value coming into my company and leaving the ones. This is an example with supplier and customer, but it works also with manufacturing. When you consume components, it kind of leaves your company because it's used in the manufacturing process, and the finished product comes to your company again with the manufacturing process. So we want to get every stock move entering and leaving the company and adapt the accounting based on the value of the stock moves. So how do we do that? We have a special object, what we call the stock valuation layer. It kind of is the same of the stock move. In fact, before the version 13, it was everything was stored on the stock move object, but we decided to split in 2 objects because the stock move manage the stock and the layer only manage the accounting parts. So when you validate a stock move in Action Dawn, first it do the stock part, so adapt the quantities, and then depending if the move is entering the company or leaving the company, we will create a new record of stock valuation layer model with the stock move ID, of course, the quantity we move, a price unit, and a value which is simply the price unit multiplied by the quantity and the product. How do we get the price unit in case of incoming move? It depends on what the move represents. If it's a move for a receipt, it will be the price on the purchase order line, for instance. If it's a move that represents the creation of a finished product in a manufacturing process, it will be the sum of all the values of the component and the manufacturing cost on the work center, for instance. And if the move leaves the company, the price unit will be the product standard price at that moment. The standard price is a value that depends on the characteristic of the product. In Odoo, we have 3 costing methods. We have the standard price, so the price never change. We have also the average price. So with all the price of the purchase order line, let's say, that enter the company, we always set the standard price for the product as the average of all this incoming purchase. We have also the FIFO method. So the price of the product is simply the price of the first one entering the company. And at the end, we can also create accounting entries for the layer. So in case of automated valuation, each valuation layer will create an account move and an account move line to update the accounting parts on the fly. The stock valuation layer are not editable objects because we want to, like in the accounting, have something very strict and not movable in the time. It's just a pile of value, negative and positive, that will give the value at a certain time of your stock. So that's it. Thank you for your attention. If you have questions, we have a pad when you can write some questions, and we will answer them right now.
Yeah. And in summary, if you want to start to try coding in the inventory application, just try to create some stock move, see how it reacts in the system at the beginning, and you will see it's easy. When you understand how the move work, you can really do what you want the inventory. It's really the base. In this presentation, we do not present all the inventory object because it's very wide. So it was really the basics, but you have very, very different. You have the batch picking, for example. It's a top layer of the picking. So you have 4 layers. Just try and you will see. Yes, absolutely. The stock picking is just additional information to the stock move. So you just add a partner or stuff like that, but you can pick a move and move it to another picking. There is no issue. However, I suggest you to put the move in a picking that have the same information than the other, because if you put a receive move in a delivery picking, you have lack of corrupted data, and you will be lost at a point.
Okay, next questions. The rules on a route have special order in which they are executed. Sometimes top down, sometimes bottom up.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So the computation, the order, it's based on the route itself and not the rule. So on the route, you have it's applicable on 4 different objects. The first one is you can specify directly the route in the, for example, in the sell order line, or if you have some reordering rule, you can say, okay, usually I buy the product, but this one I want to manufacture it. So you can say in the order point, I will use the by route. The route is also applicable on the product and product category. So on the product form page, you have all the route, if the route is applicable by product, and you can check on the product the route you want. After that, there is the warehouse level. So all the routes that are applicable in that warehouse. So the order is first. If you specify the route and the sell order, or in the procurement itself, so in the value of the procurement, you can tell the route you want to use. It will take this one. After that, it will use the route defined on the product and the product category. And if it doesn't find it, it will use the route on the warehouse level.
Okay, next question. How is the return from customers handled?
I can answer this one. So basically, on every picking, we have an action called action return, and we will simply reverse the stock picking. So the picking also have a location source and a location dest, and it's simply the opposite. And the stock move that go to the customer are linked to the move in the return with the same key we presented just before, the move org ID, move dest ID. So we can have the parallel between the return and the picking.
And it's useful to link them because when we link both moves, we know which serial number was used. So when we reserve, we can directly pick that serial number and put it in the return. So that's an example of use case of the move org and move dest.
Okay. How is the revaluation of stock after end of life of the product, I guess?
We simply had new valuation layer on top of the existing one to make the correction if correction has to be made. We simply continually add some layer on top of the stack.
Okay. Are all those objects exposed on an API?
Yeah, in Odoo, all the objects, at least you need to have the right to read them, write them, or create them. But every object in Odoo you can access them by the API. So you can do everything in the API. You can create move, you can validate move. Also, it's only the public method that can be called by the API. So for example, in order to validate move, on the stock move and the stock move line, it's private. So you have to put them in the picking and validate the picking, because in the picking, the button validate function is public. So
Or make an inventory adjustment.
Yep.
Yeah.
So does the forecast always consider 3 months before and after for forecast availability quantity on version 17 using report stock inventory view transient model?
For the forecast on 3 months, we put that for performance issues. So it's hard coded in the code. Yeah, I think we need to. We could do a system parameter to have a different configuration for it. Yeah.
Okay. So is it possible for a product to be duplicated in the stock move line from a manufacturing order, or would it be a mistake?
No. It's completely logical to have the duplicated move line for the same product, because, for example, if you take 3 different serial numbers, you have to duplicate 3 times the stock move line, and each time it's for the same product but with a different serial number. It's the same, for example, if you put a product in 2 different locations, you will create a stock move line to bring it, for example, 5 units in shelf 1, another move line for 5 units in shelf 2, but it's for the same product.
So we have a longer question now. One of you mentioned that zero quants clearing cron job is there. In V17 and for older versions, I have checked right now, and it has been called unlinked zero quant method from action of opening view, and from stock move line action done if it has package. So the question is why it has not been taken care from cron. Yeah, it's a bit long. This one.
But I think that when we open the inventory view, we usually merge the stock quant. So yeah, I think we can verify. You can find us after at Ubuntu if you want to check. But I think it should be merged. In fact, the duplicated quants, it happens only when you have a concurrent update. So if you, for example, are working on the single product not tracked, so each time you need a transaction for this product, you will do a call on the quant, and if it's locked, we will create another quant to keep the information and not drop the transaction, because it will cause a performance issue. And after that, when it's more calm, we merge them together at this point.
Okay. What is the core differences between pull, push, and pull rules? Can you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. The pull, it's it's only working with the procurement. So it's when you have a need, for example, in the customer location, then you call the pull function, and it will take from the need and go to the stock or where you need to take it. The push is different. The push is when you receive something, but you don't know what to do with it. So for example, you do a purchase order, but it's not linked to a customer or something. You just want to buy product in advance, and you know you will use them later. So at this point, it will be the push rule that happens. So you receive the product and you push it to a location. So it works the same than the pull, so except it's in the other way. We push the object to the stock, and the pull and push, it's both at the same time. So sometimes for example, for the delivery, for the receipt, sometimes we just received the product without any need, so we push them. But sometimes someone will order them, and we need to buy them. So at this point, it will be done by the pull, because we will go in the other way.
Okay. Can you create a depreciation of the value by stock transfer?
To deprecate the product, you need to.
Of the value.
But the valuation it's made by the stock move. So if you made a stock move that is going outside your company, then we will remove the value of the inventory.
Okay. Could you use the stock moves to cut a steel beam into multiple pieces required for manufacturing with the objective to keep lot number traceable?
Yeah, because the lots used in the component in a manufacturing process are linked to the serial number used to make the finished product. So let's say you have a table with a serial number, and every legs also have a serial number. The serial number are linked together in the traceability report, so you can track everything, even if there is a manufacturing process in the middle of the line.
Okay. When you have a consigned stock, how do you consume or retrieve from consignment? And how can you generate a report to notify the owner of how many products you have consumed plus the valuation?
But if you do consignment, you don't have valuation because the goods are not yours. So it goes to the valuation of the partner that own the goods. But you still have some accounting entries on the receipt and the sales. It's just that it doesn't count in your inventory in your inventory value. So we don't create layer for that. Yeah. And in fact, it will act like a consumable product for the consignment.
Okay. Can the move line product be different from the product in the move?
No. No, it's not a good idea. Okay. And also for the consignment, yeah, you can MTM. If you create a stock move line with the owner of the product, it will use that product and not another one of your stock. So you can create your own report with some read group or search read on the owner of the product.
Okay. What is the relation among move line, quant, and quant.package?
The quants.package, it's the package. In fact, if you put them in a box, it's a quant package. So the stock move line, it contains the package from where you take the goods, and it also has the result package where you put. So for example, if you do a put in pack, you will set a quant package on the stock move line, and for the quant itself, it has we have a count for each package. So for example, if you have 3 products in 3 different packages, in the inventory and in the stock quant, you will see 3 counts with each one, the package and the quantity in each package.
Yeah, just put the field of stock move line. So if you put the product in a package, you will set the result package ID. And if you unpack the goods, you set the package ID and nothing in the result package ID.
Okay, one last question, I think. The Odoo 17 release notes mention aging stock reports. Where is this and what model is it based on?
Yeah, so the aging report, it's based on the stock valuation layer. It's a pivot view on it with some metrics and the create date and the remaining value. I don't know when you test it, but we put it in the 17 yesterday, so it's pretty new.
Okay. Is there any other questions? I see a couple of questions that are very business oriented and for a specific business case. Don't hesitate, we have a booth for services. Our experts are there and are ready to meet you to solve any issues you might have for your business.
And also the booth for inventory, and we have some table just there, so you can meet us if you have more specific question, or if you want to dig a bit more in an object we didn't present today. We will be happy to help you.
Okay, I guess that's it for this talk then. Thank you,
you,
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.